Are there thoughts that if you had Herzog in the beginning, it probably could have started during the first?
Well, we can't go back and second guess that. We're glad to have him on board now, and it's worked out well.
Was there anything that the FRA said? Did you all do anything that put this over the hump, that the FRA said, yeah, that's it, okay, now you're clear to go? Did they say that was the final hurdle, or give you any indication?
Well, yeah, it was back in September, August and September with the previous contractor. They did a good job of getting us started along with us to look at a hazard analysis and risk assessment, which is a thorough review of all the possible hazards that are on the system. More importantly, what needed to be done to fix those. We put together a work plan that, again, Lane Timms, great project manager, pushed that through, made sure we stuck to our deadlines, did what we were supposed to do. So that was what the key is in any successful project, is to understand what you need to have done, get the right people there, get the right consultants and contractors there, follow the plan, and get the job done. And so after we did all of that, we were confident that the system was going to be running the way it was supposed to be running, and so we communicated with the FRA a lot. And so when they showed up, we knew it was we had a really good chance that it was going to work, and it did. So we feel very good about it.
Doug, was the FRA concerned about cars stopping on the tracks at all? Or I know the 51st Street interchange has been a tough one for you guys. Were they concerned about that at all?
Well, what they're looking at is, are our systems set up the way they need to be set up, and are they working the way they're supposed to work? And they are. I think we are all concerned about people driving around gates or not paying attention to the gates, or trying to beat the gates, or walking down the tracks. And so you guys have done a great job, and the more you can do it, the better, of letting the public know, follow the signs, listen, don't try and beat the gates, don't stop on tracks, don't walk down the middle of the tracks. But what the FRA is looking for is, are your systems in place? Are they working the way they're supposed to? And they are. So they were good with the system.
And in the future, might you fix that intersection?
Well, there's nothing to be fixed. We are looking with the neighborhood on other changes to the road network around there, and they took an initiative and shared it with Mike and other council members, and we're going to be looking at that. But the system is set up to be a safe system, even at that complex intersection. But again, as I mentioned to Ben, we're always going to look for ways to optimize. But it is a safe operation now. It's a safe location. But the neighborhood has suggested a few things that we're going to work with the city on about possible road changes to make it a little less complex, but it is a safe system.
Okay. Is it going to be free of the Ozone Action Days as well?
I don't know. Ozone Action Days, do we provide free? No, we don't.
Well, the buses are no longer free.
No, right. The whole system is, we charge during, we need the money. So, so we need to do that.
On the very first run, is there any sort of plan to have people like Mike or the senator or anybody else, or is it just whoever shows up gets on?
I know that if Mike's not on there, I know Mayor Kalman will be on that first train out of Leander. I'm very confident in that prediction. The mayor and Leander have shown great regional leadership in joining the system, staying in the system, seeing the vision of a regional transportation system, and we're proud that it's starting in Leander, that first train, and ending here in downtown Austin, and stopping a bunch of great places in between. But we will have other things we'll be announcing that Mike and the senator and others will be available and be commemorating and dedicating the system.
I have a question for both of you. Looking back in hindsight, I mean, for 2,000 passengers a day, was it really worth $100 million to have?
Yeah, I think it really is. I think it's a great, very cost-effective project. The cost of the project is about a little over $4 million a mile, probably. And there's not another new modern rail system with this kind of technology that's anywhere near that price tag. It's a start. We didn't do it just to stop here. We have plans to lengthen these platforms. In fact, this platform you're on here is a temporary platform. Our plans are ultimately to be 2 blocks west of here with a complete station with 3 tracks so we can add capacity. The cars are designed that we can add cars to it, and so we can very feasibly quadruple the capacity of the system in a few years. It's a matter of finding the money and making sure we've done the design. We're also working with other cities to possibly look at expansion to those areas. So Metro Rail, what we're starting with is a starter. It's a much higher quality and expansiveness than what was talked about in 2004. We did some upgrades. The cost did go up, but it was well worth it. It's a great bargain, and I'll let Mike talk about that.
And
too.
I'll just say that I agree with Doug 100%. It's worth every penny, with the caveat that we take that next step and continue with this project. It won't be worth it if this is all we do, because as you said, it will only impact a small portion of our community. Transportation is about comprehensive transportation, getting folks from point A to point B through different modes, not just commuter rail. There's urban rail, there's bus, and there's rapid transit. And so it's worth it as long as we keep working on providing more service in the future to add connectivity to the system that we're opening today.
And do you plan to expand the hours beyond just these rush hour commutes you'll be doing?
Not initially. What we want to do for the first year is to get a good understanding of how the patterns are. Remember, not on this track here, but on the rest of the track, we operate freight trains, and we move a lot of that rock from the west to the east, and we need to continue to do that. That's part of our business, and that's part of the line. But we will be looking at that in the future, and have already started looking at plans on that in that regard. Kind of along those lines, I'd also like to recognize Bill Lejeune. Bill has been a long-time Capital Metro employee, and would be able to tell you the names of each of the ties along the 32 miles, if you're interested in that, and has been very instrumental in all of this.
Did I hear you say I thought these trains were such that you couldn't hook a train to it.
Oh yeah, we can. On the front of the train, you can see the coupler, and they couple together. And so the plans are ultimately to have them be 2-car trains. So they're 1-car train now. We'll be able to couple another car to it, but we'd have to lengthen all the platforms to be able to do that. Just by doing that, of course, would double the capacity of the system. And then we'll have to add more tracks to add more frequency. So that's.
Does the second train have to have engines and motors, or could it just be a passenger compartment?
No, it would come with the same unit with the power, with the electric, the diesel generators in the middle that power the electric motor. So it's the same compact system, they just hook together.